1960s gave us peace, love, and flower power, but not every song was about good vibes. Some tracks dove into the shadows, exploring death, madness, and the supernatural.
I put a spell on you.
Tonight, we're counting down 10 of the darkest rock songs from the decade that changed everything. And stick around, there's a bonus track at the end so unsettling, it's still spooking listeners today. Number 10. Imagine a song so chilling it feels like it was recorded during a real seance. Blending raw garage rock with a haunting occult energy. It's a track that still sends shivers down your spine. The Sonics, The Witch, 1965.
Oh, she's the witch. Where she wanders around.
The Sonics' The Witch is pure sonic terror disguised as a garage rock song. This Pacific Northwest band took the raw energy of early rock and roll and pushed it into terrifying territory with a track that sounds like it was recorded in a haunted house during a thunderstorm. Jerry Rosley's vocals are absolutely unhinged. He doesn't just sing about encountering a witch, he sounds like he's being possessed by one. His voice shifts from terrified whispers to blood-curdling screams, creating the impression of someone who has encountered supernatural forces.
But you won't get far. She gonna make you ill.
The guitars are heavily distorted and tuned to create maximum dissonance, while the drums are recorded to sound like they're echoing from a cave. What makes The Witch particularly effective is its complete commitment to creating genuine fear. This isn't camp or humor. The Sonics are playing this completely straight, and the result is unsettling.
You know the score. 'Cause I sent you straight.
Number 9. A British band known for their polished harmonies and sophisticated pop sensibilities decided to venture into uncharted territory. Their name suggested something supernatural, and this particular track lived up to that promise, with an eerie tale that felt more like a ghost story than a pop song. The Zombies, She's Not There, 1964.
Her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there.
The Zombies' breakthrough hit, She's Not There, opens with one of the most haunting organ lines in rock history. Rod Argent's electric piano creates an atmosphere of unease that perfectly complements Colin Blunstone's ethereal vocals. The song tells the story of a man searching for a woman who has mysteriously vanished, leaving behind only questions and emptiness.
Told me about her. What could I do?
What makes this track dark is its ambiguity. Is the woman dead? Has she simply left? The lyrics offer no clear answers, only the repeated refrain that she's not there. The minor key progression and jazz-influenced chord changes create a sense of sophisticated melancholy that was revolutionary for 1964. The reverb-drenched vocals seem to echo from another dimension, while the rhythm section maintains a steady, almost funeral-like pace.
Say you're sorry. How would I know? Why should I care?
Number 8. A British band known for their rebellious attitude and blues rock foundation decided to explore themes of depression and nihilism with a track that painted the entire world in shades of darkness. Their song became an anthem for anyone who had ever felt overwhelmed by life's bleakness. The Rolling Stones, Painted Black, 1966.
I see a red door and I want it painted black.
The Rolling Stones' Painted Black opens with one of the most distinctive and ominous riffs in rock history. Courtesy of Brian Jones' sitar, the Eastern-influenced melody immediately creates a quality of exotic menace that perfectly complements the song's themes of depression and despair. Mick Jagger's vocals tell the story of a man so consumed by grief and darkness that he wants to paint everything black to match his internal state. What makes this track particularly haunting is its relentless intensity. The driving rhythm section, anchored by Charlie Watts' pounding drums and Bill Wyman's hypnotic bass line, creates a sense of urgency that feels like a panic attack set to music.
Look hard enough into the setting sun.
Jagger's delivery shifts between desperate pleading and angry demands, as if he's arguing with the universe itself about the unfairness of existence. The song's lyrics explore themes that were rarely addressed in popular music of 1966: clinical depression, suicide ideation, and the complete loss of hope. Lines about seeing girls walk by dressed in summer clothes and wanting them to turn their heads until his darkness goes reveal a narrator who can't bear to see happiness in others because it reminds him of what he's lost.
No colors anymore, I want them to turn black.
Number 7. A British R&B band known for their aggressive sound and wild appearance took a traditional American folk song and transformed it into something that sounded like it crawled out of a nightmare. Their version turned a simple story into a tale of inevitable doom. The Animals, House of the Rising Sun, 1964.
They call the rising sun.
The Animals version of House of the Rising Sun takes an already dark traditional folk song and amplifies its sense of doom to epic proportions. Eric Burden's vocals carry the weight of a man who has seen too much, while Alan Price's organ work creates a feeling of impending tragedy that builds throughout the song's 5-minute runtime. The song tells the story of a life destroyed by vice and poor choices, set in a New Orleans brothel that has ruined many lives.
Down in New
Burden's vocal performance is particularly powerful in its restraint. He delivers the lyrics with a world-weary resignation that makes the story even more tragic. The minor key progression creates a sense of inevitability, as if the narrator is trapped in a cycle of destruction from which there is no escape. Price's organ starts with simple, haunting chords, but gradually becomes more complex and urgent as the song progresses. By the song's climax, the entire band sounds like they're channeling the collective despair of everyone who has ever walked through the doors of that infamous house. Number 6. A Detroit band that would later become synonymous with psychedelic rock started their career with a song that sounded like it was transmitted from another planet. The track's unnerving ambiance and cryptic lyrics created one of the most menacing listening experiences of the decade. The Electric Prunes, I Had Too Much to Dream Last Night, 1966.
I had too much to dream last night.
I Had Too Much to Dream Last Night by the Electric Prunes is perhaps the most psychologically disorienting song to emerge from the mid-1960s garage rock scene. The track opens with a guitar riff that has been processed through so much reverb and distortion that it barely sounds like a guitar at all, more like the sound of reality itself beginning to warp and bend. The song's narrator describes a dream so vivid and disturbing that the line between sleeping and waking has become blurred.
Was empty as I staggered from my bed.
The lyrics are deliberately fragmented and surreal, creating the impression of someone trying to piece together the remnants of a nightmare. The production techniques were revolutionary for 1966. Guitar is drenched in effects, creating a chilling atmosphere, while vocals are mixed to sound distant and ethereal. This song perfectly captured the paranoia and psychological uncertainty that was beginning to creep into American culture in the mid-1960s. It wasn't just psychedelic, it was genuinely psychotic.
The dawn, and you were gone.
Number 5. Imagine a song about an 8-legged creature that's equal parts creepy and darkly funny. With a crawling bass line, monotone vocals, and eerie sound effects that seem to skitter across the speakers. This track taps into one of our most primal fears, and somehow makes it oddly entertaining at the same time. The Who, Boris the Spider, 1966. John Entwistle's Boris the Spider stands as one of the creepiest songs The Who ever recorded. Written by the band's usually quiet bass player, the song tells the tale of a man's relationship with a spider he's named Boris, a relationship that takes increasingly dark turns as the song progresses. Entwistle's deep, monotone vocals create an environment of deadpan menace that's far more unsettling than any screaming could be. He delivers lines about Boris with the detached fascination of someone who might be losing his grip on reality. The bass line crawls along like its arachnid subject, while Keith Moon's drums provide sudden, sharp accents that sound like the scuttling of spider legs. Most memorably, the song includes actual sound effects, creaking, crawling noises that make listeners feel like something is moving in the shadows. The song taps into one of humanity's most primal fears and transforms it into a piece of art that's both darkly comic and disturbing. Halfway through our countdown, and now the 60s darkness deepens. Stick around and then check out the 70s edition for even more shocking tracks. Number 4. A San Francisco band emerged from the psychedelic underground with a song that sounded like a bad acid trip set to music. Their track combined Eastern mysticism with Western paranoia to create something that felt like a musical representation of madness itself. The Doors, The End, 1967.
This is the end. Beautiful.
The Doors' The End is an 11-minute journey into the darkest corners of the human psyche. What begins as a simple breakup song gradually transforms into something far more sinister, a meditation on death, violence, and the complete breakdown of civilized behavior. Jim Morrison's vocals start relatively conventional, but become increasingly unhinged as the song progresses.
Of everything that stands the end.
His voice shifts from tender crooning to demonic growling, creating the impression of a man slowly losing his sanity. The famous Oedipal section, where Morrison explores themes of patricide and incest, remain one of the most shocking moments in rock history. Robbie Krieger's guitar work uses space and silence to create tension, while Ray Manzarek's organ provides an ominous foundation. The song has no traditional verses or choruses, instead flowing like a stream of consciousness. The result is a piece of music that feels dangerous, as if listening to it might actually be harmful to one's mental health.
Can you picture what will be?
Number 3. A British blues band took their name from a horror movie and lived up to that inspiration with a song that combined traditional blues with supernatural terror. Their track sounded like it was recorded in a haunted house. The Pretty Things, Defecting Gray, 1967. The Pretty Things were considered more dangerous than the Rolling Stones in their early days, and Defecting Gray shows exactly why. This track is a brutal assault on distorted guitars, pounding drums, and vocals that sound like they're being torn from the singer's throat by some unseen force. The guitars are tuned down and heavily distorted, creating a sound that's more like industrial machinery than traditional rock instruments. Phil May's vocals are delivered with a sneer that suggests barely contained violence, while the rhythm section pounds out a relentless beat that feels like a march toward destruction. The track feels more like an auditory onslaught than a traditional song, with sections that build to crushing climaxes before collapsing into feedback and noise. Radio stations wouldn't touch it, and even the band's label was uncomfortable with its content, adding to The Pretty Things' reputation as rock's most dangerous band. Number 2. A band known for their innovative guitar work and blues rock foundation decided to experiment with backwards recording techniques and tape manipulation. The result was a track that sounded like it was being played by ghosts from another dimension. The Yardbirds, Glimpses, 1968. The Yardbirds' Glimpses is less a song than a sonic experiment. 10 minutes of tape loops, backwards recordings, and sound effects that create a nightmarish mood unlike anything else recorded in the 1960s. The piece features no conventional song structure, just an evolving soundscape that moves through different moods and textures like a musical fever dream. Jimmy Page, who would soon form Led Zeppelin, used the studio as an instrument, creating sounds that wouldn't be heard in mainstream rock for another decade. The backwards guitar work creates an eerie, otherworldly quality that makes the listener feel like they're hearing music from another dimension. What makes Glimpses particularly effective is its complete unpredictability. Voices appear and disappear in the mix. Instruments fade in and out of recognition, and the overall effect is deeply disorienting. The track feels like a musical representation of madness or a bad psychedelic experience. Number 1. Consider a British band that emerged from the London underground scene with a reputation for pushing boundaries that other groups wouldn't dare approach. When they decided to tackle the subject of mental illness and institutionalization, they created a track that was so sinister, it was banned from radio play across multiple countries. The Crazy World of Arthur Brown. Fire, 1968.
I am the god of hellfire, and I bring you fire.
Arthur Brown's Fire is perhaps the most terrifying song to emerge from the 1960s. Brown's theatrical performance style, complete with flaming headdresses and demonic makeup, was matched by a vocal delivery that sounded like it came from the depths of hell itself. The song opens with Brown's now famous declaration, "I am the god of hellfire, and I bring you fire." What makes this track so disturbing isn't just Brown's vocals, but the complete commitment to the character he's portraying. This feels like genuine possession. Brown's voice shifts between operatic grandeur and primal screaming, creating an atmosphere of barely controlled chaos. The organ work creates a cathedral-like climate that makes the song feel like a black mass rather than a rock performance. When he screams about bringing fire, it doesn't sound metaphorical, it sounds like a literal threat. The track became a massive hit despite its menacing content, establishing Arthur Brown as rock's premier theatrical performer. Bonus. Now for that bonus track I promised. A record birthed when a legendary blues shouter decided to record a song about supernatural seduction. The result was so intense that it practically invented the concept of theatrical rock performance. This artist's wild stage presence and harrowing vocals turned a simple song into a full-blown occult experience. Screaming Jay Hawkins, I Put a Spell on You.
I put a spell on you.
Though originally recorded in 1956, Screamin' Jay Hawkins' I Put a Spell on You cast its dark influence throughout the entire 1960s. The song emerged from a recording session that Hawkins later claimed he couldn't remember due to excessive drinking. But the result was pure voodoo magic captured on vinyl. Hawkins' vocal performance is nothing short of supernatural. His voice shifts from tender pleading to demonic growling, creating the impression of a man possessed by forces beyond his control. When he moans about putting a spell on someone, it sounds less like romance and more like a supernatural threat. The piano pounds out a hypnotic rhythm, while the horns punctuate Hawkins' vocal outbursts, with stabs of brass that sound like musical lightning bolts. His theatrical approach to performance, complete with coffins, skulls, and smoke effects, provided the blueprint for everyone from Alice Cooper to Marilyn Manson. This track proved that rock music could be genuinely frightening. These 10 tracks show just how dark and unsettling rock music could get in the 1960s. If you thought these songs were eerie, wait until you hear what the 1970s had in store.